Hey there and welcome. It's Scott from Limitless and welcome to our next episode in High Performance Habitudes. What's a habitude, you ask? It's a combination of your attitude towards something giving you habits, and then that gives you the results in your life. So what kind of results do you want to have? Today we're talking about health and fitness for entrepreneurs. When I put the words entrepreneur and health and fitness together, I sometimes have to stop myself from laughing because depending on when you were born, how many changes can one generation endure? I grew up in a household where everyone smoked. We smoked at dinner, and I didn't smoke. I smoked in the car. We ate all the red meat we could, and exercise was something that you got up from the couch to go change the television because there was no remote. So lots of changes coming on. And then you put in that entrepreneurial world where you no longer have to have that bricks and mortar space. You are a virtualpreneur. You've got all kinds of things going. There's no shortage of changes that entrepreneurs have to endure to be successful. So again, if you are still doing these kinds of things, and if you're still being the entrepreneur and trying to keep yourself healthy, good on you, because not an easy thing to do. I've been an entrepreneur now for almost 30 years, and whether it's 30 years or 30 days, if you've really sunk your teeth into that entrepreneurial world, you know there's never any shortage of things that can be done. And one of the first things that tends to go when we get busy, isn't it true, is anything to do with eating well or getting exercise. Those are the first things. You just hear those words, I just don't have time to do it. I've got so many things to do. And it is true, we've got so many things to do. In my entrepreneurial world with my friends and colleagues who are entrepreneurs, weekends don't mean as much as they do for the average person who's got a job or career that they do 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Evenings and weekends blend in, and we do it because we love it. So if we love it, we want to be able to do it really well. So after having worked with thousands of entrepreneurs over the last 20 years, every time I hear an entrepreneur say, I haven't got time to take care, of health, fitness, and eating, I equate that with I haven't got time to run my business well. Because here's the spiral that happens when you start taking good eating and good fitness routine out of your life. You don't eat as well. You don't have as much energy. Stress increases, and as stress increases, your performance decreases, and as that happens, you get stressed out more and you eat even less quality foods. You start having stress eating that actually happens, and it becomes that spiral that gets you, we slow down. I've seen some of the best folks who've bought businesses and started them, and 3 months later they're almost unrecognizable because they put on the 10 or 15 pounds because they've been so busy. And here's the key point: they've been so busy working in the business rather than on the business. They're so busy doing everything for the business on a daily tactical basis that they don't break out and do strategic things because they just don't break away from getting their mind out of that forest. They can't see the whole forest because they are so deep into the trees. So think of your health, think of your fitness as the gas for your engine for your business. Okay, so what kind of gas, what kind of octane do you have that you're actually putting into your business? Is it something that is optimized because you're eating well and exercising well? And believe me, remember I started this saying, how many changes do we have to endure to be successful? I don't have the answer for that, but I do know that people who take care of their eating and their fitness outperform those who actually work, within the business and don't think strategically because their mind is just always on the tactical stuff. Think of it this way. If you're not eating well and taking care of yourself, we're just coming through the cold and flu season here, how much does a week-long cold cost you? Well, and a lot of people say, well, Scott, I don't take time off. I'm still the entrepreneur. I know, but you're sluggish. You've got, you've got meds to keep your nose all dry, to keep your head awake. You're dopey. Your work's not anywhere near as good. You're not thinking clearly. So there's lost money there. You're not taking full advantage of all the opportunities. And even, by the way, when you do have a cold, moderate exercise helps boost your immune system even while you are sick. So good eating and good fitness are omnipresent, or should be omnipresent. So let's just break it down into a couple of quick points. There are all kinds of fitness instructors and gurus and latest practices, but here's 3 sort of pillars that you can sort of anchor to and build out what's good for you going forward. Number 1, let's think hydration. drink water. Drink lots of water. It helps keep a lot of chemicals within your blood moving. It keeps you alert. Dehydration, even by the smallest of percentage points, reduces performance. So in the morning, before you start your day, I try very hard every day to have 12 to 15 ounces of water. I have a few anti-inflammatory pills that I have to take because of sports injuries and stuff like that. But have that water, get that water into your system early on, and help get things going. And from a hydration perspective, I think so many people have caught on to this. Environmentally, I'll drop in, please don't drink bottled water. We don't need to have that stuff. It doesn't. I mean, that's one of the greatest marketing scams in the world is having bottled water. Water from most places around the world. I don't know where you're listening, but tap water is, at least in Canada here, is absolutely fine. But just have that water, with you, or even into your daytime, or program in. I should have my second glass of water by now. I'm not talking about drinking, 16 liters of water a day, 2 liters of water a day, but always have water being your first drink that you go to, even before your teas and coffees. If you're having soda pops or whatever you're doing, that kind of thing. Keep your hydration up. You'll be surprised at how much stronger your performance is. Number 2. Oh, this is a tough one because I grew up with ribs and hamburgers and hot dogs and all that stuff that tastes so good. Moving towards moving towards an animal protein-free diet. Don't stop listening just because I've said that. I am not cutting off your lifeline. I said moving towards. And the reason you want to think about moving towards that, and hopefully that you actually do, is soon as you have a piece of meat, and it doesn't matter if it's red meat, chicken, or fish, they have been proven to all be pretty much equally damaging. Okay, so this idea that white meat and turkey is less damaging, bunch of bull. Okay, is that soon as you've eaten it, within minutes, swelling and inflammation start in your body, because your body just doesn't process it that well. So what's the bad thing about swelling? Hey, guess what one of the breeding grounds for cancer is? It's swelling. So, whether it's through eating habits or sports, we do not like swelling. We want to get rid of it as quickly as possible. And if you still need a bit of a jump start on, to get off that sort of meat bandwagon. By the way, for me, if I have a piece of animal protein every other day now, and a smaller piece, I'm not ever having the 10-ounce steaks or anything like that. But I do love chicken wraps once in a while, kind of stuff. I have a real hankering for crab or something like that. But it's smaller amounts and it's less frequent. And in between, I'm putting in things like falafel and tabbouleh and all the other great vegetarian options. So I get 2 benefits out of that. One is I don't have the swelling going on in my body, and if I can ever defeat the smoking that I endured at the hands of my parents and brother earlier in my life, I want to drastically reduce wherever I can the number of chances I'm going to give cancer to get a hold of me. So if that the cancer piece is not enough to help you move in, watch some of those food documentaries on how animals are raised for our consumption here, and that honestly, you're going, I don't ever want to watch that. I don't want to destroy the illusion of having great chicken wings or burgers or whatever you're doing. And believe me, I still have those yearnings as well. It reduces it, and it saves money. And actually, the cool benefit too is by losing those extra pounds. It's like when you lose extra weight, it's like putting dollars in the bank, because you get more energy. And you get it at a higher level. And I have a couple of clients, who are packing some extra weight, and they're always talking about losing the weight, but they're also always tired. And so whenever we have to do strategy sessions like that, it's a very narrow window where they've got the energy and focus to do that. So losing pounds for me is like just padding my digital wallet with money, because I will be able to see opportunities. I'm performing at a higher level than if I was, in that comatose state. I remember I was camping out in Banff about 20 years ago, and came out of the woods after some backpacking country and just had the best breakfast. And it was like I ate like 6 eggs, half a pound of bacon, toast and cheese and stuff like that. And it was the first time in my life I think I almost went comatose. My body trying to absorb that kind of stuff. I was out for the day. I was in an ugly mood, and since that time, I've really tried to move back. But I know a week ago they had packaged brownies on sale here in town, and I got some for my son Dawson, and that was my excuse. Anyways, I got some for my son Dawson. They're on the counter there, and I just had that sweet tooth. And I just went and, have you ever done that? And just grab something that tastes so good going in, and then later on you're going, I don't feel so good. I'm kind of sleepy, dopey. What's on the tube? And all that ambition and desire I had to do something, sort of went out the tube. So, in terms of animal protein, the other one I just sort of segued in there is sugar. Try very hard to minimize those things and change that relationship you might have with food. You are never really hungry. You just think you are, because by the time you've actually had your first bite or two of whatever meal you're having, honestly, you've probably eaten an awful lot already of what your body actually needs to survive. The rest is just sort of a delay factor. You haven't had the registration in your mind yet that you are full because the food's already going down. And so trying to change that relationship with food by eating healthier, the veggies are a huge part of that, keeping the sugar out. You'll find, my gosh, what a great entrepreneurial boot camp. You're just going to have all kinds of mental alertness and acuities that you may not have currently. So number 2 or 3 on our registration here is move towards a healthier diet. Okay, the final one that we're going to talk about today is the fitness piece. And this is the one that usually falls out of the way side first, because number 1, we always have time to eat. It's just whether we eat well or not. But the fitness one is sort of like, oh, what a long day. You're coming home at 7, 8 or night. And you just hear, I don't have time for exercise. Well, every time I hear an entrepreneur say, I don't have time for exercise, I always hear, I don't have time to grow my business. Because for me, that's what exercise is. I mean, whether it's a gym, walk, a fitness class, or sports time, it is a great time to clear your head. And it doesn't have to be overly vigorous exercise. I mean, you don't have to be going for your personal best. You just want to get your heart rate elevated. And where I get an awful lot of my creative ideas and my insights and linking pieces of my business world together is not while I sit at the desk here, doing my work. It's when I'm out and about and I'm outside of this and my mind is just sort of in a better creative spot. So fitness for me is 5 or 6 times a week, anywhere from half an hour to an hour at something, whether it's volleyball or whether it's the gym or riding or walking, whatever I'm doing. And I don't look like, oh, gee, I'm taking time out of my business. This is the time, actually, a friend of mine who's incredibly successful too, he is incredibly successful. I would like to be successful like him. Where we go and talk business is we walk on the dike by the ocean here, and we go for a 2-hour walk, and we have notepads, and we just sort of walk and chat. And man, do we get through a whole bunch of stuff that I don't even think we'd come to if we were, in a closed room getting to. So get that heart rate elevated at least 10 minutes every day. Just walking casually, that's better than doing nothing. But, the heart rate elevation is really what you want to get that blood circulating. If time becomes a priority for you that you don't have, hours, I do remember, I used to play ice hockey in the evenings. And by the time I'd travel, get dressed, play hockey for an hour and come back and have the beer with the guys, it's 4 or 5 hours. And it was just too much time. So, I switched it and went to volleyball, which I get a great cardio workout. I'm in and out within the hour kind of thing, and I can move on. So think of fitness not just as really good for your body and your current chemistry, but think of it as good for your business, good time for thinking. And that's what we have for you today, entrepreneurs, in terms of health and fitness. So in summary, health, eating, and fitness, they need to be in your calendar. If you are just planning to slide them in where there's a spot there, they are not going to happen. You will continue to perform as well as you can, but know that you have not optimized yourself. And, if you're looking to grow your business, you'll find an extra tool in your toolkit if you start taking care of yourself. Number 2, think hydration. Get that water in play, easily. And, pop and other beverages don't count. Think water. Your body loves water. You will be able to solve problems better with water. Here's a problem. See if you can solve it. Here's one. A guy named Ernesto. He is a coin collector. One day into a shop walks a guy with a coin. It's a bronze coin. On one head is a bronze medallion of an emperor, and on the other side is the date stamp, 477 BC. He looks at the coin, but he doesn't buy it. Instead, he calls the police. Why does he do that? He's got a coin, bronze, emperor on one side, stamp 477 BC. He's not going to buy it. Did you get it? Well, there's something wrong with the date. If a coin was actually minted in 477 BC, Christ had never even appeared yet. There was no such thing as BC. The coin is obviously a fraud. So if you got that, you're doing something good. If you missed on that one, hey, who knows? But those are the kinds of mental alertnesses that you can get from taking care of yourself. Number 3, so I don't segue again. Be an entrepreneur when you eat. When you go out with your friends, you obviously don't mind standing out, in the business world. Do the same kind of psychology when you go to restaurants. If they're ordering, the rib platter and nachos to die for with 6 pounds of cheese, and it's okay to have that salad or whatever else you want. You don't have to follow the herd. This is not a great time to do that. So, just make sure that you are always the owner of what goes into that mouth of yours and in terms of what you exercise. And treat fitness like a strategy session. When I put the gym into my calendar and it is always there, it is a strategy session. Names come up there, marketing ideas come up there, new client relationships always come up there. And my mind clears as well. So I hope we've been able to serve you today and have fun with our latest episode, our podcast of High Performance Habitudes. Our next podcast is going to be on how kindness changes your income statement. Look forward to talking to you then. Until we talk again, have yourself an awesome week. Cheers.